Today we'd like to share Bunessan Primary School's journey in developing a strong island identity, one that we feel is rooted in Gaelic language, culture and community, and which actively shapes children's sense of belonging and learning. We want Bunessan to be a school that understands its place, not just geographically, but culturally, historically and socially. Everything we do is informed by the reality of island life and by the determination to ensure our children grow up proud of who they are and where they come from. According to the Scottish Government Rural Schools List, our local area is classified as a very remote rural area. Although we serve what might be considered an isolated community, it has never felt like that. That said, the majority of our children travel significant distances by bus to get to school. For those furthest away, this is an hour journey before and after school. We only have one pupil that walks to school from the village of Bunessan, which is about half a mile away. When our P7s leave, they attend Oban High School on the mainland and stay in the hostel. We have an English class, which has 13 children, P3 to P7, and a Gaelic class, which has 15 children from P1 to 6. In our Pre-5 unit, we have 9 children. We have strong parental involvement, and as a school, we are keen to ensure that we make the most of local community resources, connecting with our local environment and involving local community partners. We are particularly aware of the additional challenges involved in attracting young adults back to the island once they have finished their education. Our Gàidhlig Butte has one of the smallest 0 to 15 populations in Scotland, with nearly 28% of residents aged over 65. Population decline is predicted to continue. This context matters. It shapes our priorities, our sense of responsibility to the community, and the importance of making school a place where identity, culture, and belonging are deeply felt. The local Gaelic heritage is extremely important to the school and has inspired our efforts to offer a rich educational experience deeply rooted in our island setting. The community is resource rich in both terms of its geography and its residents. Over the last couple of years, we have developed strong and positive connections with our local community, gaining their support and involvement. Some of our regular involvements include visits from the community library to the school, visits to the community garden and local forest, an annual block of sailing for our P5 to 7 pupils, which has strengthened confidence and safety around water, developing skills aligned with local leisure and work contexts. Pre-5 visit the shops in the village and pop into the local lunch club to share their baking. The children are fortunate to benefit from an extensive range of after-school clubs run by parents and community members, and our strong local partnerships enrich our curriculum and the experiences of the children. Developing the school as an integral part of the community is key for us in encouraging the children to experience the wider world, but to also know that they can return home to pursue a range of careers and lead successful lives. To give you an idea of how Gaelic has grown within the school, I'm going to pass over to Jen. Jen's involvement in the school's Gaelic journey began as a parent, later being employed in the Pre-5 as a childcare and education worker, and now alongside this role is completing a PGD online and is currently in the middle of her first teaching placement.
Yeah. For many of us in the south end of Mull, the hope for Gaelic medium education had been alive for decades. When the Education Scotland Act 2016 came into force, it finally provided a clear pathway for establishing Gaelic medium education at Bunessan Primary School. A small group of determined families working closely with Common and Parent began the process in earnest. Our journey began in 2017 with only 3 pupils, but with a deep belief in what Gaelic could mean for our children and for our community. Gaelic had once been the native language of the island. My own dad was a Mulach and a fluent native speaker. By the time I was growing up, Gaelic was no longer heard in everyday life and was certainly not encouraged. Despite this, I always felt a connection to the language, and I then continued my learning at Salmarostig. Many of the older generation of Mulach Gaelic speakers are no longer with us, and a decline in community use had become stark. Gaelic had lost its place in local life, and I felt strongly that my children and all children growing up in the area deserved the opportunity to reclaim it. Supporting Gaelic medium felt like a way to keep the language alive and to honour the cultural heritage that shaped generations before us. The early years were not without their challenges. Securing a permanent Gaelic teacher proved extremely difficult, and housing shortages in the island added another layer of complexity. At one stage, visa issues prevented a promising applicant from taking up the post. Eventually, we were able to secure a house tied to the job, which made it possible to welcome probationer teachers. They were dedicated, enthusiastic, and exactly what our children needed. Their presence reassured us that we had made the right decision in pursuing Gaelic medium. Practical challenges also emerged within the school itself. At first, there was no designated classroom for the Gaelic learners, and the school community had to adapt quickly to accommodate the new class. These early obstacles, rather than discouraging us, only strengthened our determination to see Gaelic medium succeed. During the children's first P1 year, we were still without a teacher. We received invaluable support from the Furin Gaelic Centre in Noban and from Common Gaelic. The children also became the first primary class to use eSchool for lessons. Once a week, they spent the day in the Gaelic class at Salem Primary School, a journey of 80 miles in total, which showed the level of commitment involved. Between 2018 and 21, probationer teachers helped the provision grow, but the lack of permanency meant Gaelic still felt quite fragile. When I became employed as a childcare and education worker, I was able to weave Gaelic into the children's daily routines by introducing colours, numbers, and simple phrases. This gave them the early foundations and helped families feeling confident in being able to choose Gaelic medium. Once we knew which pupils would be entering Gaelic medium, I would support their transition by increasing the amount of Gaelic they heard and used. Everything changed in 2021 when we secured a permanent and experienced Gaelic teacher. From that moment, Gaelic no longer felt tentative. It became embedded, visible, and confidently shared across the school. The atmosphere shifted. Gaelic was not simply surviving, it was growing. And grow it has. From 3 pupils in 2017, we now have 15 in the current session, with projections of 21 pupils by 2026 to 2027. This growth will require 2 Gaelic classes, a milestone that once felt completely unimaginable. Looking back, I feel immense pride. Pride in the families who refused to give up, in the teachers who nurtured the children's learning, and in the community that has slowly but surely welcomed Gaelic back into its daily life. Most of all, I feel proud of the children who carry the language forward with confidence, joy, and a sense of belonging. Their voices remind us that Gaelic is not a relic of the past, it is living and growing, it is part of our future, and Bunessan Primary is at the heart of the revival of that within our community.
Following my appointment as head teacher, we revisited our visions, values and aims. We carried out consultations that involved all staff, families, children and some of our community partners. Once we had agreed our vision, values and aims, it was clear that we had prioritised Gaelic language and culture and recognised the importance of our local geography, environment and community. We then made our vision, values and aims visible. We shared these in our communications, on our websites, with our community partners and throughout the school, with shortened versions on our display boards and on our lanyards. We regularly refer to them during lessons, in assemblies, and we use them to support our restorative conversations with pupils. Our shared values are expressed bilingually, Mishnico, Coinio, agus Curuco, confident, caring and creative. The whole school knows our visions and values and aims in English, Gaelic and Makaton, and they are even included in a song. This demonstrates we are placing Gaelic front and centre of our school community. The bilingual articulation is a deliberate act of identity building and hopefully sends a clear message that Gaelic matters here. Our vision, value and aims also has a clear community focus, which is increasingly reflected into our strengthening links with local businesses. Here you will see the children singing our song.
So I am the Gaelic teacher at Bunessan Primary School and I'm a Mulach hailing from the island, and although like Jennifer, Gaelic was very much part of my family growing up, it was not passed down to me directly, so I am a Gaelic learner myself. I've always had a passion for the language and culture, and after spending over a decade studying and teaching in the city, I knew I wanted to return to Mull one day to help nurture Gaelic on the island. When the opportunity arose, I came home. Although Bunessan and the Ross of Mull have a deep-rooted Gaelic heritage, Gaelic is no longer widely spoken day to day, and the number of native speakers have been declining. We have been working hard to help bring Gaelic back into the community, with the school at the heart of that. It was clear from the beginning that if Gaelic Medium Education was going to work in the school, Gaelic could not be confined to one classroom. It needed to be seen, heard and valued throughout the whole school, so that both Gaelic and English medium pupils could engage with the language and better understand the culture and heritage of the area they live in. We have worked hard to build that ethos throughout the school with bilingual signage, Gaelic greetings for all pupils as they enter the school, Gaelic being used in daily routines, and Gaelic being the +1 language for our English medium pupils. We also have whole school weekly assemblies where children learn Gaelic songs and our Abers na Teaching, our phrase of the week. This phrase is encouraged throughout the school and shared with families and put into local businesses to help Gaelic beyond the classroom and into the wider community. It has been important that Gaelic belongs to the whole school, not just the Gaelic classroom. All children take part in local mods, shinty events and wider cultural opportunities, helping build respect and pride in the language and culture of the area. In turn, and really importantly, this encourages our Gaelic medium pupils to feel proud and confident speaking Gaelic within their school community. One of the biggest challenges for any Gaelic teacher is creating an immersive environment where children feel confident and happy to use the language naturally. Within our classroom, we use games, songs, stories, drama and play to support immersion. But one of the strongest aspects of our multi-stage setting has been the role of the older pupils as leaders. Each morning, rather than a soft start, the whole class takes part in free play through Gaelic. Because of the aforementioned pride and understanding of their language and culture, the older children naturally model and encourage Gaelic to the younger pupils while taking on leadership roles within the classroom. These interactions help build confidence and show the younger children that Gaelic is not just something spoken to them by their teacher, but something they can use comfortably with one another every day. Over time, this has helped create a classroom ethos where Gaelic feels normal, shared and lived. Because Gaelic is not widely spoken in our area, we have had to be very intentional in embracing any opportunities brought forward to us that allow children to experience the language in meaningful ways. Through a range of partnerships, children across both mediums have created podcasts, films, artwork and poetry, allowing them to engage with Gaelic creatively, while also hearing and seeing other adults using and modelling the language. A particularly meaningful project for us was our work exploring the local bard Johnny Calling with Dr. Alistair White and the University of Glasgow. Through this, pupils learned and performed local songs and explored place names across the Ross of Mull, creating a map and discovering the Gaelic roots of the language around them. This helped children understand that Gaelic is not just a subject taught in school, but something woven into the stories, history and identity of the place they live. Each year, the whole school takes part in World Gaelic Week, Gàidhlig Gaelic, and we invite families and community members to join us for Gaelic Games Day. These opportunities help strengthen the connection between school, language and community and show children that Gaelic is something to be shared and celebrated together, and it also gives them an opportunity to teach their families. As a small rural school, this work does come with challenges, but what remains here is the heart of the language and the stories, the music, the place names and the people. Our role is to nurture that, create opportunities for children to experience it meaningfully, feel proud of their culture and identity, and to take it with them into their futures.
Our strong community connections underpin our approach to learning. We help children understand the value of their local area and the opportunities it offers. After working with the Community Garden and National Trust Ranger, children have been inspired to develop their own school garden using skills learned locally. On Earth Day, they planted over 200 native trees around the school and community woodland. We supported the local community forest by helping to create bilingual signage for the local nature trail, strengthening links between language, place and environmental learning. To tackle the longer-term challenge of retaining young people in the island, we established a Careers Week supported by local businesses. The focus of our first Careers Week was the different type of employment and apprenticeship opportunities available across the island. Our latest event focused much more on the local environment and Gaelic language. This also linked into our sustainability focus during our farm to fork learning. Visitors included a professional hill runner exploring Gaelic place names and how it helped him understand the hills, a Gaelic speaker who worked in the mussel farm, a local chef using island produce, local weavers using wool and natural dyes sourced locally, online Gaelic flower arranging, and a Gaelic speaker working remotely for the Department of Agriculture. Our careers events and business partnerships increase children's knowledge of local employment and apprenticeship pathways and the feasibility of island-based study and work routes. We also hope that this ensures Gaelic and island identity are not treated separately, but as deeply connected. We are continuing to grow our partnership and recently collaborated again with Dr. Alistair White and resident artists alongside pupils from Iona Primary School on a project exploring how knowledge can be shared across island environments through visual art, sound and community engagement. The children enjoyed listening to stories, singing Gaelic songs, creating artwork and collecting stones that we shared with children in Svalbard. Svalbard is a Norwegian archipelago in the Arctic Ocean halfway between mainland Norway and the North Pole. Longyearbyen is the world's most northernmost town. These exchanges help our children to make connections further afield while seeing how different communities are connected. We have just finished a block of yoga during our PE sessions, which were delivered online in Gaelic to the Gaelic class and used part of the Gaelic learning by the English class. To further connect children to the environment and develop confidence around water, we also start our wild swimming sessions with the P5 to 7 pupils in June. By intentionally developing an island identity through our shared vision, values and aims, our community partnership, our use of Gaelic language and our place-based learning, we hope our children grow rooted in our island, proud of their culture and prepared to contribute meaningful to their community. With Gaelic as a thread that connects language, place, people and their futures, we have hopefully given our children the courage to make their next big leap forwards.